Welcome to the ALR podcast. This is part 1 of 2 of the long-awaited GPA interview. So without further ado, here he is, San Diego's legend, GPA.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the ALR podcast. I'm your host, Alberto. The wait is over. My special guest, San Diego's own GPA. For those that don't know who he is, GPA, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, man?
What up, everybody? This is GPA. I guess you could say I'm a rap artist from the early 90s. I've recorded songs with some of San Diego's legends. I put it down for the city for a long time, and I pretty much disappeared after that. So now it's time, I guess, to tell my story. So let's do it.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Growing up, who were your biggest influences in music?
Well, that's where it gets kind of crazy, I guess you could say. I grew up in a musical family. So my dad was a guitar player, and he was influenced by his older cousins. And his older cousins, one of them, actually both of his older cousins, they toured around the world in different bands. So one of the cousins, my cousin Chato, for all the people that are older, he played with the Wolfman Jack review, which was an oldie review back in the day, and he toured the world. And then I had another cousin, his brother, my cousin Armando, and he played in a group called the Smith Brothers. And the Smith Brothers back in the day were like an old school funk band, and he got to play with like Stevie Wonder. I guess when they were playing in Hawaii, Stevie Wonder mobbed into the club and sat in and played drums with them. They were playing in the same hotel as LTD. So those were my dad's influences as far as music. In the household, there was that influence of funk music, jazz, regular Mexican music, Ramon Ayala, Alfredo Jimenez, stuff like that. Because my nana was really big into music, but she was also big into like Glenn Miller Band. She also liked, the Blood, Sweat and Tears. She liked Richie Valens. So my nana was always playing all these different types of music because I kind of grew up at my nana's house, because we'll get into that story later about my parents. So growing up as a kid, I listened to everything. Uncles, they were listening to, like One Way, the Gap Band, Johnny Guitar Watson, Ozone. So, it's just all over the place. So musical influences are kind of everywhere, dude. I think that's why you can listen to it in some of the songs that I did. I didn't have that standard, let's take this regular old school beat that everybody has kind of beat up and used and try that again. I would always dig through records or have stuff on my own little list that I would like, and I put that to a track and kind of put it out there. So I listen to everything, dude. People that know me, they know my musical preferences all over the place. One of my buddies says that my music takes him on an emotional roller coaster. So I'll go playing from I'll listen to Metallica to Patrice Rushen to John Legend to System of a Down to Kenny Burrell in like an hour.
Damn,
one song after the other. It's just messed up. But that's just the kind of music I grew up on, right?
Yeah.
I remember the times where I was really I think you could say kind of messed up. My girlfriend, who's my wife now, she could tell when I would make CDs. She's like, "What's up with you, man? Like, what are you talking about?" She's, "Listen to a CD that you just made. It's just all over the place." That's how she can tell, like, when there was things wrong with me or I was dealing with stuff in my life. So music is my life, bro. Whether I record it or not, to this day, I collect vinyl and, I got CDs and stuff like that. So music is a big part of my life, bro.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I kind of can relate to you because I listen to all types of music, and for me still now is like whatever mood I'm in is like whatever I'm listening to.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I grew up with, with my mom, listening to, Mexican music and stuff like that. But I'm for instance, I'm a big Los Bukis fan.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So one minute I could be listening to Tupac, and then the next minute I'll be listening to like Marco Antonio Solis.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, like Los Temerarios, just old school stuff like that. So
yeah, no doubt.
I totally understand where you're coming from with that right there, bro. That's what's up, though. You know what I mean? A lot of people ain't like that. And
yeah, it's just I try to make my kids like that too.
Oh yeah,
because it's always playing in my house somewhere. My kids, they trip out like, where'd you hear this? How do you figure out to buy this record? And I'm like, I don't really remember the song on it, but I remember the record cover, so I buy it, and I was like, oh, I remember this song. Oh, I remember this song. Oh, I remember that song. So it's music's life, man. That's just the bottom line, dog. Music is life.
Yeah, like me, I don't know if you do it, but like when you're doing anything, music.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. Cleaning house, cooking dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting into an argument. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. At what age did you realize, man, I can make something out of this music? Or what age did you realize, like, man, I have a talent right here?
Well, I think I didn't realize it at a young age. My mom was the one that said there was something different about me, and my mom and dad both said that. So growing up as a kid, the first years of my life when my mom and dad were together, my dad's band would always play. They would always practice at the house, and my dad played with some heavy hitters, dude. Like there's guys that are doing stuff right now that were in my dad's bands one way or another, And they tell this story that I guess I was like probably like three or 4 years old, and that song by the Commodores, Brick House, was out. Okay. And I guess that was my favorite record. They would say like I get up Sunday morning, and I'd get out of my crib, and I would go to my dad's record player setup, and they knew I was up because I'd scratch the record, and I'd scratch the record until I found that song. And then when that song would go on, it was, it was pretty sick. I thought it was dope. I don't remember that, but so the story goes is that I guess one time my dad's band was learning that jam, and they couldn't figure out the horn part, or the horn part of the lyrics. I think it was either the horn part of the lyrics. I want to say it was more the lyrics. And so I was already in bed, and one of his band members said, "Hey, go get little Gilbert to tell us what the lyrics are," because everybody knew that was my favorite record. So they woke me up, and from the way the story goes is that I told them the lyrics for the song. Like, so that was at 3 years old, bro.
Damn, bro.
And I was telling him like, nah, you gotta say this, and the horn part goes like that, right?
Yeah.
And so as I grew up, always seeing my dad playing music, and cousins of mine that are involved in bands, I was always around it. I try to play instruments. Probably, when did I start playing drums? I want to say around like 13 or 14 years old.
Yeah.
I played drums for a little bit. I could play drums. I don't play guitar. I know chords, but I don't play guitar. I can play a little keyboard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always had that musical talent in me, but nothing really stuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to sit down and learn Mary Had a Little Lamb on the piano. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to play more bounce to the ounce. and if I can't do that, I'm not going to waste my time learning that instrument. That's just how I was, dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. It seemed to me that drums were a lot easier for me to do that because I could play any song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So around that time, that's when I knew it was something. And that's just kind of where it started right there, bro. I would say probably like as young as 3, and really getting into like the structure of music, probably like 12, 13 years old.
That's what's up, bro. It's funny that you say more bounce to the ounce because, man, that song, everybody had something to do with that song. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I was a kid, man, out in the neighborhood, like all you suddenly hear that song just blaring everywhere, and it became a popular song. I think it's one of the most sampled songs also. Oh yeah, like that song, dude, that reminds me of being like, I think I was 4 years old, and there was a party at my nana's house, and my aunts and uncles, they're all older homeboys and homegirls from my neighborhood. And I remember that song came on, and I don't know what the hell happened, dog, but they started fighting each other. So I'm like a 3 or 4 year old kid looking out the window. Actually, I'm older than that. I think I was 5, looking out the window, and everybody's fighting and shit. You know what I'm saying? And more Bounce to the Ounce is playing. So
that kind of set the tone. Everybody knows, dude, when you're at a party, you know what I mean? Back in the day in the 90s, and More Bounce or So Rough, So Tough comes on. It's like shit's about to pop off. Get ready for it. And that's kind of how it's always been, dude. You know,
or you're in the neighborhood.
That's right. That's right.
Once you start hearing that, man.
Yeah.
So when you went to the studio for the first time and dropped your first song, was it a little bit after that, or it took you some time to get into the studio?
Nah. So the way I got into writing raps was it was a trip. So it's kind of like in stages, bro. I was 13 years old, and we went up to LA because my mom's from LA, so all my family and cousins and all that are up there. We went up to LA and we went to a swap meet, and I ended up buying the Easy Does It album by Eazy-E. And I listened to that album, and that, like, back in the day, dog, that was like pornography. You know what I'm saying? Because nope. The thought of my mind after every song was like, man, they're gonna get in trouble for saying this on tape. You know what I mean? Because I heard it. I heard people talk like that, but it's like you didn't hear that on music, Yeah. And then I remember the song. Hell yeah, dog. You know what I mean? They weren't they weren't holding nothing back. And so the song on that album was Easier Said Than Done. And I remember that was like the first rap song that I memorized the lyrics to. Like, I literally would play it over and over and over and over again, and I remember that those lyrics, right? And then so that started that, and then there was a couple like so Dub C had a group called Low Profile back in the day with DJ Aladdin, and they had a song, and I remember watching a TV show called Pump It Up, and they had Ice Cube on there. Barnes? Yeah. So there was the episode that they had Ice Cube on there. He hadn't left NWA yet. So they had him at his mom's house, and he was, they played like, the DLC stuff. I remember I might even still have the videotape somewhere, bro. I mean, I videotaped it. So that's how much I played it. Bro. And so they had Dub C. Dub C was nobody, bro. I mean, there was no Dub C the Mad Surfer yet. There wasn't, West Side Connection. And they played his song with him and DJ Aladdin called Pay Your Dues. And that song pretty much had a foundation like a More Bounce beat, right? And man, that song was like, man, I want to rap. Like, I can if I can memorize lyrics, I think I could rap. You know what I'm saying? And so I started. I was in high school, and I met he's let him be my a best friend. I mean, one of my best friends, but my homeboy Pedro, and we were in class. We had a English class together. And there was this dude from another neighborhood that I didn't really, everybody used to kind of make fun of him. And so my homie Pedro didn't like him either. And we used to write raps. Like, he'd write a line, and I'd take the paper and I'd write the line, and he'd take one and go back and forth. So by the end of class, we'd have a full-on rap song about that dude, like a diss track. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Pedro was like, man, you're pretty good at this, man. I'm like, yeah, well, I kind of write on my own already. I was kind of already writing, but nothing major, right? So shit happened at school. I got kicked out, and I dropped out of school. But in the time that I dropped out of school, me and Pedro still stood friends. And he asked me, like, hey, dude, you want to start a rap group? And I was like, you don't rap, fool. He's like, no, I'll be the manager. I got this dude with records, and I got this other dude that raps. So my homie Omar was the other rapper. Shouts out to Omar. That's still the homie right there. And my other homie Mark, he had a bunch of records. So they did school. I wasn't in school at the time. They did school, and we started this group called the Southeast Clan. And so we had like instrumentals and shit, and it was us four, but we never really recorded anything. And the first recording that I ever recorded was on my answering machine, bro. So I had, there's a old school San Diego legend. Shout out to the Green Eyes. He's still around. He's known as King David now. It's called The Struggle Is On. So I had that single, and there was an instrumental. So I had my phone by my radio, and I picked up the phone like how you're going to record a message. And so I hit the tape, and the music was going over the receiver of my phone, and I rapped to it. And But that was essentially the first time I ever recorded, right? And and it was funny, bro, because my answer machine had those, you know, those little ass recorded, you know, those little ass audio tapes for the answer machines.
Oh yeah.
So I had to have one of those like personal recorders with the little tapes, and that's the only way you could hear it. I didn't have it on a regular tape. I couldn't play it in the car. You just had to hear it on my little tape recorder, right? Then around that time, me and my dad, we had some funk, man. Me and my dad did not get along, bro, because him and my mom, they had just got back together a couple years before. So my mom and dad split up for a lot of years in my childhood. We could talk about that later, whatever. But my dad, being the musician that he was, and he seen that I was trying to do something in music and just kind of being a punk, man, he told me, you know what? You're never going to be anything in music unless you know how to play an instrument. And it pissed me off, dog. It really, really, really pissed me off.
Damn, bro.
Because all I ever wanted was like my dad's approval of getting in the music business, you know what I'm saying? Or doing something with music, right? And he just, he took it to the heart. And so he had I got into trouble, bro. Like pretty much, dude. Like it was either I almost went to youth camp because I got in trouble. So he put me on restriction for like 6 months, dog. Like I couldn't go nowhere. I couldn't do anything. The only thing he left me was a weight bench, a radio, my phone, because at the time I was already paying for my own phone, right?
Yeah.
And a notepad. So my uncle that was living with me, he's been in the business back in the day. So he's like, either we got to get you ready to go to jail so you can survive, or let's just get you in shape. So I was on a program in the morning, right? But my dad had this tape recorder. It was a Tascam Porter 1. It was an old school tape recorder. So it was a 4-track, and it would use regular audio tapes. So what I started doing is I started getting instrumentals. So I would buy like Parliament Greatest Hits, and I would get was it a Flashlight, or you know what I'm saying? I didn't have a sampler or anything then. So I'd record that on 2 tracks, and then I would write raps and record the other 2 tracks with my raps. So that summer, this was like during the summertime, I recorded like 63 songs on that recorder.
Damn,
like,
the whole span that you were grounded?
Yeah, bro. Like I recorded a shit ton of songs, dude.
Damn, bro.
It was like 2 or 3 songs a day. And I burned out the recorder. The recorder stopped working on me, dude. It ate up a tape, and I was like, what the hell? It's not working. It wouldn't work anymore. So what I did is I put it back, because my dad would never use it. My dad never used that tape recorder. I put it in work and I killed it, right? So I put it back where I found it. Funny story, 25 years later, my dad goes, hey, can I ask you a question? I go, yeah, what's up? He's like, remember that Porter 1 studio that I had? Porter 1 recorder I had? Yeah, from Tascam? I was like, yeah. He goes, did you break it? I said, no, I didn't break it. I burned it out. He said, what do you mean you burned it out? And I told him the story, how I recorded all those raps. He's like, oh. He goes, I kind of figured you did, but I thought you just broke it. I said, no, I burned that sucker out. You know what I'm saying? So that was like that. At that point, I was making tapes and giving it to some of my close buddies, right? And what was it? I want to say about a year after that. And mind you, dude, nobody really in my family knew that I rapped.
Yeah.
I was just doing it for the homies and for myself, and listening to it and trying to get better, right? But my dad didn't know I rapped. None of my family knew I rapped, right? So my same buddy Pedro, we went to this party, and he was with some chick trying to impress her, because he was telling her that he was my manager. I wasn't doing shit, bro. Like I was just, you know what I mean? I wasn't doing shit. So this dude behind my back goes up to the DJ booth and tells the DJs, hey, I got a homie that raps. Can you get on there when you guys start rapping? They're like, yeah, we're going to do it in about 10 minutes. We'll put him on the list. Mind you, this is a house party, bro. We're at some house party. I don't even know whose it is, dog. I only went because my homeboy invited me. So I was kind of like the third wheel that night. He just wanted to brag that he was my manager. So I sit down. He sits down. He goes, hey, man, you're going to be on in 10 minutes. I was like, on what? He's like, on the microphone. Now, mind you, up until this point, bro, I hadn't rapped in public at all. I never rapped other than like my homie Omar would have been there when I recorded, or Pedro had been there when I recorded. I hadn't rapped in public at all, dog. And so all of a sudden,
Yeah,
you know,
you
the
must
heart,
have been nervous, man.
I would do it, bro. Like I could feel my heartbeat in my throat, dog. I was just like, shit, man, what am I gonna do? Well, I ain't gonna punk out. So I remember getting up to the DJ booth and introducing myself. And one of the dudes at the DJ booth looked familiar, and I was like, man, like, what's up, homie? Like, what's good to meet you, whatever. So they put a beat on. I couldn't even tell, dude. I was so nervous, bro. I couldn't even tell you what I rapped. I couldn't tell you what song it was. I don't remember shit. The only thing I remember was there was a porch light on the corner of the roof, and I looked at that thing the whole time. And I busted. I just gave everything I had, right?
Yeah.
And so the homie that I recognized, he started rapping. I was like, all right, cool, man. Good to meet you. And then so I sat down. You know, I had took a beer to the head, bro. And mind you, I was only 16, I think, 15, 16 at this time. And so the dude that I thought I knew, he comes back to the table and he's all like, hey man, I know you. So me and him had landed up going to high school together. He was older than me. We had a graphic arts class together, and we didn't do shit in that class, bro. Me and him used to like draw letters and shit in class, and that's all we did. He was older than me though. He was like 12th grade. I was like 10th grade, right? So he's like, hey man, like, I'm trying to start a rap group. Do you want to join? Now, mind you, I already was in the Southeast Clan thing had already fizzled because, you know, we didn't really do anything, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, hell yeah, bro. He's like, yeah, my homie, the DJ here, which is a dude named DJ Fade. Shouts out to DJ Fade wherever he's at. I haven't seen him in years, but shouts out to him wherever he's at. He had a full DJ system with the sampler and the whole nine in records, right? So he's like, yeah, we're about to record and stuff. I'm like, all right, cool, man. So me and the homie Maurice, that's the dude that I hooked up with, MRT, shouts out to MRT. He's still my dog to this day. We go to the DJ's house and we record a song. It was the instrumental was Genius of Love, but it was the one that I think the Furious Five put out. It was just the instrumental they had. So we busted back and forth, boom, boom, boom. We ended up recording, I think, like 4 songs.
Yeah.
And that was like our 4-song cut. So we formed our group. This is in the new group now. So it was GPA and MRT. So this is when I actually formed the name GPA, because when I was in the Southeast Clan, I didn't have a name. I was trying to figure out what to call myself, and I had no idea what to call myself. The reason why I chose GPA is because GPA is the letters to my name.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking about that right now. I'm like, what's GPA stand for?
It's the letters to my name, bro. So GPA. All right, cool. I'm GPA. He landed up being MRT. There was another dude that was a rapper in the group. His name's PA. He was PA. Shouts out to Philip. And so we started partying, bro. Like we started hitting. This was like in 90 shit, man. This was 92.
Oh, damn.
This was 92 when we were doing this. So partying in the 90s, early 90s was starting to put in, starting to pick up a little bit. They started having the party crews and the underground parties in Otay before they started building shit down there.
Yeah.
So we were hitting those and grabbing the mic anytime we can. And still, up until this point, bro, none of my family knew that I rapped. Shit. I didn't show anybody my shit, right? And then I remember I was telling my wife this story today too, like. So my homeboy Maurice he has a really big family, and they would always have a party at this hotel in North Park, and we would go there, and we go party. So the one time we went, I invited my aunt, my cousin, and their homegirl to come and party with us. My aunt's kind of close to my age. She's only like 7 years older than me. So at the time I was 16. She was like 20, 23. So she was still young. And so we go to the party, and the DJ was like, yeah, we're going to play this song by, Maurice and Gilbert. It's called Rhyme of the 619. That was the name of the song, Rhyme of the 619. And they put that song on, and everybody starts going crazy and starts dancing on the dance floor. And my aunt looks at me. She goes, you rap? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, okay. So we party the rest of the night, and then we land up in front of my cousin's house. She goes, hey, let me hear that again. And I was like, all right. So we put the tape on, and she's like, man, you're pretty good. I said, oh, thanks. And at that point, she told everybody that I rapped. At that day, everybody found out that I was a rapper, And so,
how did you feel?
What's up?
How did you feel about that?
I was a little nervous. I have like this thing, dude, where I don't want somebody to tell me that I suck.
Yeah.
So it was really like, at that time, it was really like, man, don't tell me that I suck, because I'm gonna give up. Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, but at the same time, I had that drive in me where if you did tell me that I suck, I'm gonna do a song every time I see you. I'm gonna show you a song until you tell me I'm sick. That's just the kind of dude that I am, bro. Like I've had people say, I don't really like that song. All right, cool, man. Thanks, man. And 2-3 songs later, they're like, man, this shit is banging. I'm like, thank you. And that was just my goal. And I never showed them another song after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally see where you're coming from, bro. When I started my photography, I used to just take pictures with my iPhone and whatso. And then one day I was walking through Costco with my wife, and I saw, those camera bundles that they have at Costco.
Yeah.
So I bought one, and then the next day I went to the beach, and I just started taking pictures, bro. And I made a little Instagram and whatso. But I was like, man, the first person that tells me says pictures are trash, I was like, man, I'm done with this. And luckily nobody did, but there's been some times where people pick somebody else over me. But hey, like you say, hey, thank you for your time. Let's keep on moving.
Let me keep it pushing.
Exactly.
So that's like 92. So that's like around in 92. So that group in San Diego Posse, we did some shit, bro. Like we went up to Distilleries. I don't know if you remember Distilleries up there by you, and it was in Escondido actually, in Eastside
the
Escondido.
Ice House?
I don't know what it's called now, but it was called Distilleries East. That's what they called it back in the day. So
maybe, I don't remember.
It was an under 18 club. I think it was like 15 or 16 and over.
Mm-hmm.
We used to go up there on Saturdays, bro. And so this was around 92. So 92, San Diego, that's the thing I want to put out here. I want to digress a little bit, but San Diego rap is more than myself and the people that people know, right? San Diego rap is like, you got the Green Eyes, you got the Legion of Doom, you got Partners in Rhyme that turn into Southeast Trickeration, you got Prime Suspect, you got Big June, you got CC, Little Rob was out then, you got 702 who landed being G-Lo, who else was out at that time?
Aztec
Tribe was out. San Diego was deep with rappers, bro. Like, on some serious stuff, bro. Like they were deep with rappers and they were doing shows all over the place. So when I started doing it, bro, like all I ever wanted to do is be a Dago rapper. I mean, you had IBM, you had Gangster Earn, you know what I'm saying? Southeast One, you had LPSD, EMP, you know what I'm saying? It was deep, you know what I mean? So I wanted to be one of those dudes because I was looking up to him. So when we started going up to like Distillery, those kind of groups are up there performing. So I started meeting cats. I started meeting kind of some cats up there and all that stuff, right? And I wanted to make a name for myself. That's what I wanted. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to get up on that level. I wanted to have my tape in Fam Art and Spin-Off Records, all these old school record shops from back in the day, right? That's all I wanted to do. So we party too much at the end of the day. Like we didn't get shit done, dog. We just party too much. And,
it's how it goes.
Yeah.
Man.
So that group fizzled out at that point. I remember my homeboy MRT saying like, "Hey, dude, I'm not rapping anymore." What are you talking about? You're not rapping anymore? I quit. And seriously, bro, to this day, he's never picked up a mic again.
What?
He just wanted to do something different. I'm like, all right, cool, man, no doubt. So at that point, is GPA the solo artist now, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, I started by just going and buying instrumentals, local San Diego instrumentals, or you know what I'm saying, like up and coming artist instrumentals. And around that time, again, this is like 92, 93-ish, I think. And I ended up meeting my homeboy Brown. So me and Brown had a girlfriend who was a friend of mine, and that's how we hooked. That's how I met Brown. Brown was a cool cat, dude. Brown's still a cool cat. Shouts out to Brown.
Okay.
And at that point, like he ended up breaking up with my friend, so we were just like, I was like, hey, bottom line, dude, come kick it with me. You know what I'm saying? And over that time, Brown became my brother because I'm an only child, so I have no siblings. So Brown's my brother, right?
Oh, okay.
And he's the one that introduced me to Shadow.
Oh,
so
okay.
Brown grew up in Waptown, and I also met Night Owl through him. So he grew up in Waptown, and he introduced me to Shadow. And Shadow was little, dog. I was probably like 17, 18 years old then. Shadow was probably like 12, 13 years old. I remember him just always being on his lowrider bike by his house when we go pick him up, right? And he was like a little scrawny kid, homie, like riding his lowrider bike everywhere. And so we hooked up. Me and Brown were like kicking it pretty hard. And I had an older homeboy from my neighborhood that used to do some neighborhood raps back in the day. And then I had another homie that shouts out to Cartoon from Logan, Cartoon from Treinta. That's the homie right there. He was part of that Negative Behavior clique. And so that's kind of how we formed Negative Behavior. So it was myself, it was Brown, the homeboy Double M, shouts out to George and Shadow, and then the homie Cartoon. Cartoon came in a little bit later. And we would start going and performing places. Like we were trying to do it. So there was another local club down here in La Mesa called Broncos. So on Thursday night, it was like teen night, and they had it was like a 15 and over club. And we had a couple tracks that we didn't have music, but we had our routine down, bro. Like everybody would spit their stuff, and we went in there and we busted. We got a pretty good feedback. And we would go to parties, bro. We were going to underground parties, wearing our Negative Behavior hats, and you know what I'm saying? That's just kind of how it was. And we hooked up with some dude he lived in North County when we went to his house. I don't remember his name. I don't remember shit about the guy, right? But he had a studio. So we all met with them, and he's the one that kind of first told us about Bone Thugs. So this is before Bone Thugs and Harmony ever even came out. And this is, so again, it was like 93. So they didn't come out till the following year. So we're like, oh, okay, cool. We'll keep an eye out for that. He knew people in the business.
Okay.
So
I wonder who that is.
I don't know who he is, dog. I don't even know if Brown or anybody remembers him. But so he had a studio in downtown where the ballpark's at now. And that place was back in the day, dude. That place was shady, bro. Like it was grimy. It was super grimy. I mean, we went strapped up. We went because we didn't know, it was downtown, dude. It was crazy back then, right?
Yeah.
And so we paid this dude $350 for a track, and we went to go record. And we get there, and nobody's prepared. It's our first time, bro, ever being in a real studio.
Oh, shit.
Right, we paid. This guy's on the clock. Like he only booked us for a certain time, and we didn't come through. We didn't. One of the guys that was recording couldn't get his verse down. When he finally got his verse down, he wanted to do it better. He told the producer to erase it. I told him nah, and he's like, erase it. I'll do it better, and he never did it better again. So
what?
So it got to the point, bro, where at that recording session, I was like, you know what? Fuck this, I'm gone, dog. When you guys get done, call me. And I got home and I made that decision that night that I'm not rapping anymore. I quit. I ain't a rapper anymore. I quit. Right? And so at that point, I would say that night was the night that Negative Behavior disbanded. And it sucks, bro, because if we would have stuck together for everything that everybody did within that little circle, we would have done something, bro. But we didn't. It didn't pan out. So I quit.
Damn.
I quit. I didn't even get to jump on the mic, bro. I never even got in the booth. Like, that's how bad it was.
Like
that, dog. There was it was 4 of us plus, it was 4 of us. I don't know. There was 5 of us, dog. There was 5 of us. And only one person got in the booth the whole entire time we're there.
What?
And so I left very frustrated. And I paid for it.
Was that Shadow there?
Shadow was there. It was myself, Brown, Shadow, Cartoon, and the homie Double M. And then there was a couple other heads that were there. That was the other thing that pissed me off too, is dog. It was like everybody wanted to show off, and they brought a gang of people there. It was like, bro, we're here to do business, dog. I don't need all these people here. The only one that I was cool with being there was the homie Cartoon, because Cartoon was the dog, homie. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, Cartoon's part of us, dude. Leave Cartoon here, but all these other people need to go, dog. Like I'm trying to do business. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't. And it just didn't happen.
Everybody's too busy clowning around,
not
stuff like not taking it serious.
Yeah, we didn't know what we were doing, man. So they land up recording something, I guess. And the dude said, like, come back tomorrow and we can finish. So literally, bro, we went back the next day and dude was gone, dog. He ghosted us. He took my money. I paid for the studio session. He took my money and he took whatever vocals that everybody recorded. He bounced out on us, and we've never seen him again. We never heard from him again. I never crossed paths with that dude again. Like, if he would walk by me in the street, bro, I wouldn't even know it's him.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so
$350, right, for the whole studio session?
Yeah, $350 for the whole studio session. And I wasn't balling, bro. I was broke. So coming up with 350 out of my pocket it hurt me a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I don't blame you, man.
And that's when I was like, you know what? I quit, dude. I'm done. Don't come with me none of this crap anymore, dog. I don't even want to hear it anymore, right?
Yeah.
And so everybody kind of disbanded, but my homeboy Brown and the homie Double M, they still kind of kicked it. Shadow was kicking it with them. I just kind of recluse. I just became a recluse, bro. I just started focusing on work and, you know what I mean, doing me, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
And I remember Brown, me and Brown still kicked it every day. He came back to my house one day. He was like, hey, bro, you don't even know who we met right now. I said, who'd you meet, dog? He's like, oh, the producer for Acid Tribe. I said, what producer from Acid Tribe? He's like, oh, Madman, dude. I never heard of him before. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, dude, we met him at the mall and he gave us a number and this and that. I think we're going to do some shit. I'm like, go for it, man. Have fun. And they were like, he's like, you ain't excited, bro? I'm like, nah, not really, dog. Like, I'm not. He's like, all right.
Like that first session left a bad taste.
It just, I had worked, at least me personally, I had worked so hard to get there and I failed. That's how I looked at it as, right?
Yeah.
And so it was probably shit, dog. It was probably almost a year later.
Yeah.
So this was around 94 when I met him. So yeah, so it was about a year later. Brown calls me and says, hey, dog, I got invited to Madman's birthday party. You should roll out. And I was like, I don't know, man. I'm not feeling it. He's like, come on, dog, let's go. He goes, what if Acid Tribe's going to be there? And I was like, and I always wanted to battle them. Like that was
Acid Tribe?
Hell yeah. That was my goal in life, to battle Acid Tribe, bro.
Yeah.
Because I mean, back in the day, everybody was playing the shit out of Dago Town. You know what I'm saying? They were all the Acid Tribe this and Acid Tribe that, and nobody knew I rap. I'm like, you should hear my shit. You know what I mean? But
yeah, you ain't heard
nothing.
Yet.
But let me hear it. Like, oh no, I can't let you hear it, dude. I don't rap. You know what I'm saying? I'm scared. So I was already confident then, and so he was like, I said, all right, let's go, man. So he picked me up, and he was with some girls, and we were hanging out with those girls before we hit the party, and the whole time, the girl I was talking to, she kept saying how Acid Tribe was the best and you know they were good and blah blah blah, the best in Dago, and the whole time the girl didn't know I rap, bro. I never mentioned shit that I rapped.
Damn.
Okay, so we hit the party, and it was at Madman's house, bro. So we hit the party, and I remember just walking in with a 40-ounce on me, saying what's meeting Madman really quick, and sitting down and just started drinking my beer. Wasn't socializing, wasn't doing any of that shit, right? And the girl kept, and so Acid Tribe goes up and they start doing a freestyle around the DJ. They started busting raps. And the girl next to me was like, oh yeah, look at the best and this and that, woo, woo, woo. And I was like,
man, let me show you.
I said, hey, Brown, let's go. So I walk up to the DJ booth and I was like, hey man, what's up? Can I bust on the mic? And he's like, yeah, you're after so-and-so. Cool, no problem. And so two people busted before me. I grabbed the mic and I spit, blah, 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 blah. Hand the mic back, go back and sit down, crack my 40, take a drink. And the girl goes, I didn't know you could rap. And then I looked at her and I said, you didn't ask. Right? And then Clown from Acid Tribe, shouts out to Clown. Clown comes up and goes, hey, bro, come back again. We're going to bust another rotation. All right, cool. So I went up there again. So we start busting. Then I started just kind of like, what I spit at the first time, it was something I had already written, right? Yeah. Then I started freestyling, and then I was kind of like stepping to people like, who wants some? Like nobody was like kind of stepping to me, right? Yeah. There was an older cat there who had just got out the pen, so he had all these penitentiary raps. So the only thing that was left there battling back and forth was me and him. I was freestyling, and he was pulling penitentiary raps from out of nowhere. Finally, they said, hey, people want to dance again, so let's end this. All right, cool, man. Nice to meet you. I sat back down. We're chilling. I talked to Clown for a couple minutes, and then I told Brown, I was like, hey, bro, I'm ready to go home. And he's like, it's only 10:30. I'm like, yeah, take me home. I'm over it, dog. He's like, okay. So he takes me home. He drops me off. At the time, I didn't have a license, so he dropped me off. And probably like 30 minutes later, because he went back to the party. Probably like 30 minutes later, Brown calls me back and says, hey, dude, that producer wants to meet you. I said, what producer? He's like, that dude Madman wants to meet you. I said, oh, for real? He's like, yeah. He goes, so he wants to meet us on Tuesday. All right, cool. So I go to Madman's house, and it's at, you know, he's got his little recording studio inside his house, and dude, literally, dog, my mouth dropped. Bam.
What?
He had a recording booth for the vocals. He had a board. He had an Ensoniq EPS 16 Plus. Like, he had a sampler. He even had a computer back then, dog. Shit. And I was like, shit, man, this is real. And then I think Rude Dog from Aztec Tribe was there too.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you're the dude from the party the other night. Yeah, like, we're chopping it up. And so we were just talking, kind of the same thing, asking what my musical influences are, how long I've been rapping. I'm like, tell you the truth, dog, I don't rap anymore. And he was like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, dog. And so I kind of laid down that story. He's like, well, I like your voice and stuff. He goes, here, let me play you this track. So he plays a song, and I was like, man, that's pretty tight, dog. He's like, you think you could do something to it? And I'm like, yeah, I think I can. He goes, all right, why don't you come back in a couple of days? I said, no, I could do it right now. And he's like,
shit.
You can? I go, yeah. So I jumped in the booth, blah, 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 spit. And that was Day in the Life of the GPA. That was the first song I ever recorded in a real studio.
Shit.
And history. And everybody, when I was rapping, because back then I rapped a little different than when I rapped when I got older. I was real angry, bro. Like, this is my time. This is what everything that I've been putting in work for, bro. I'm gonna make the mark that I make, homie. It's on that platform. I got the producer that produced the San Diego rap group. I got a couple of the San Diego rap group members there. Like, I'm gonna put it down, dude. You know what I'm saying? And I remember rapping and people looking at me in the window like, shit, that came out of him. And so we let him doing that, and that's when we started doing the Brownie GPA EP that we actually officially put out on cassette. Okay. And
so when you first, you stepped into the booth, did you know the process of recording a song, like your 16 bars and 8-bar hook?
Nah, bro, no. So I had already something pre-written, so that kind of helped me. I wrote it to MC Ren's Same Old Shit instrumental. I don't know if you remember that song, Same Old Shit, every day and every night. So I wrote that song because I used to just get instrumentals and write raps to the instrumentals. So I wrote that song to that instrumental, so that structure was already there. Without me knowing there was a structure to a song. You know what I mean? I didn't do it, you know? So he did his magic, chopping it up and doing whatever, but I went in there and just spit. And then Brown ended up jumping on there with a verse. And the Brownie GPA was born at that point. Because up until that point, it was just, everybody would be like, hey, there's Brown and GPA, but it wasn't like we were a rap group. That's my homie. That's my buddy right there. That's my brother right there. You know what I'm saying? So that was the day too that Brown and GPA was born too.
Oh, okay.
And then we were trying to.
I saw you.
Go ahead now.
I saw on your Instagram. You had on your Instagram. I saw you had a cassette of that.
That's the actual release.
Oh, yeah. Is it? Okay.
So the funny thing about it, everybody was trying to say, well, what are you guys gonna call yourself? So we were already like on our fuck negative behavior tip, you know what I mean? Because I was still bitter about it, bro. I even there's a song on there, Strictly Rhyming for That Ass, on that EP release, where there's a transition to a song where someone goes, oh, I remember you from Negative Behavior, and I'm like, man, that shit's dead, you know what I'm saying? Where I kind of laid it to rest. I wasn't messing with it anymore. And so we started recording, and it was crazy too, because at that time, I want to say out of my entire musical career, bro, that was probably the funnest time that I ever had making music, right?
Really?
We were making the Brownie GPA EP tape. Aztec Tribe was making Straight from the Zone at the same time.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that album.
Right? Too. And then
a
little bit further into that's when I met Little One.
Okay.
Right? And I remember it was funny too, because I was on my rap shit. But I had, like I told Reggie, like, I'm on my rap shit to stay out of the street, because the streets were fucking dangerous. I mean, I didn't want to be wrapped up in the neighborhood stuff no more, right? So I was like, I'm just focused on my music. And I remember Reggie asking me like, hey, you're gonna be cool with? I got this new dude coming in. He's from over here, and you guys gonna be good. I'm like, yeah, no, homie. Like, if he's cool, I'm cool, you know. And so Little One comes in, and he starts recording once in a decade. So there's 3 albums right there, bro, in that time frame that we were there, that were being recorded all at once.
Yeah, now that you speak about that, back in the days, it's not like how it is now. Like, everybody from different neighborhoods collaborates and all that. Back in the days, it wasn't really like that. It was like, man, this fool's from here, and I'm gonna mess with this guy.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
It was way different.
We didn't mess with cross towns back then, bro. It was your neighborhood
Yeah.
and your neighborhood only. I had a
Yep, that's
I
it.
had a little bit different aspect of that time, just because
Yeah.
I had experience going all these other places on these parties and all that stuff, and I wasn't on no gangbang shit. I was on, hey, I'm GPA.
Making music.
Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? I love the neighborhood I'm from, and I got pride in the neighborhood I'm from. But I wasn't on that gangbanging shit. I was trying to do music. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
my mentality was a little different. Like, if he's cool, he's cool. I mean, that's with anybody, bro. Like, if you straight and you're cool, like, we ain't got no problems. You disrespect me, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna say something, and then I'm a quiet dude, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't say much. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we'll leave it at that. But so that whole environment was a very creative environment, bro. Because I would, me and Brown would work on some shit, and then I remember walking up to Madman's house one day, and I heard this beat, and I was like, that beat's banging. And I walk up, because we used to be able to stand outside the bedroom door and listen to music on the outside, and there were some people there drinking beer. And I remember walking up, and I was like, oh, this song is hard, man. And it was the everybody bounce beat.
Oh, okay. Little
one in the Astro Tribe. That's the one that hit the radio, and I was kind of, hey, dude, I'm gonna admit this right now. I was kind of butthurt I didn't get asked to be on it, because I thought I would tear it up. You know what I'm saying? I told Brown, man, they didn't even ask me to get on it. I was all butthurt. You know what I'm saying? But that ended up being a good.
You would have killed that shit,
I thought I would have, but it ended up being a good track for them, bro. Like, it hit the radio. It was on the radio like crazy.
Yeah.
Who else was recording in there at that time? Frankie J was going in there recording some of his. That's when he was doing freestyle style music. Frankie J, bro. Damn. Who else was in there? There was a Christian rap group called Unity Clan that was in there. They were pretty sick, dude. They were pretty sick back in the day.
Yeah.
Who else did we have in there come in there? Okay, so the producer that was there, this dude named Jaime. I don't know his last name. Shouts out to Jaime. He's the one that wrote Sugar Sugar for Frankie J. And so so he was the one that he would do he was doing all like the production stuff on it, and Frankie J would go and sing there and stuff. That was a cool experience. Most of the time I was there, bro, I'd sit there and watch other people record.
Just to get a feel for it.
Just soaking up game, bro.
Yeah.
The one thing I tripped out on, and I'll back up what I heard heard on one of the podcasts, was that little one never wrote down raps.
Okay.
I never seen him write a rap down, bro. Ever.
No shit.
That entire album, I hung out with him pretty tough for 3 albums, bro, and I didn't see him write down a rap for one of those albums.
Damn. So that all that was already done before then, because you know how nowadays say all these rappers don't write their rhymes, man. It was done way before.
Yeah, he man, I guess he'd memorize them. I don't know how. I never asked him, dude, but then I was like, you know what? I've never seen him write shit down. So, and it was.
Damn, did you write your?
Hell yeah, I did, man. I was smoking too much weed to remember. Yeah. That chocolate, that was 94, bro. Chocolate Thai was on point then, so I was like, hey, I can't remember shit, dude. Or we were drinking. I was drinking MGD or smoking bud, homie. That's what I was doing at that time.
That's it. At what point did you link up with Shadow again?
So, let's see. So Shadow and I had a little falling out over some stupid shit, on some stupid shit, and we just didn't see each other. And I had just recorded 666 with Little One. So this was like 97, 98. And Little One asked me if I wanted to perform down in Southwest High School, because he used to have a, was it Majestics? I want to say that was Majestic's car show down there every year. He asked me if I wanted to go perform it, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'll go. And that by this time, Shadow was Shadow. So I remember when me and Shadow weren't talking we weren't talking at all. I heard on the radio, San Diego's own Mr. Shadow, and I was like, nah. And then I heard, Until I Die was being played on, it was being played all the time on Z90, and Shadow this. I'm like, nah. Finally, I called Brown and said, hey, dog. And he's like, what? I go, is that Shadow? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh shit. All right. Go ahead on, man. You know what I'm saying? okay, I ain't mad at you. But so we hadn't seen each other, and I go to the car show, and it was this before I performed. Anyways, I'm walking with Little, and Little goes, "Hey, what's up, man?" And I turn around, and it's Shadow, and Little one goes, "GPA, Shadow GPA," and he walked away. So me and Shadow,
What?
yeah. So me and Shadow were like, "Hey, let's go handle this." So we handled what we handled. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it was like, "Hey, let's do a song together." Fuck yeah, dude. I'm down. I'm working on my second album.
Oh, you guys
We squashed it, man. Like,
talked it over?
we handle business like man, bro. I'll leave it like that. That's some good shit. You know what I'm saying? Shadow.
Oh, okay. That's what.
Yeah.
I was
So
wondering. Okay,
we'll leave it at that, dog. Me and Shadow, we squared out what we needed to square out. That's my brother right there, dog. Like, I've been through some dark times in my life, dog, and Shadow's always been one of the ones that I can call, reach out to. He's always calling me. He calls me the Sasquatch. You seen that comment?
Yeah, I saw that.
You know,
comment,
he's always.
Hey,
Go ahead.
That I respect that. I respect that. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, man.
If somebody has issues with somebody, just handle it.
Yeah.
It's over.
So he was like, "Hey, let's record a song," and I was like, "I'm down." He's like, I'm working on my second album already, so let's do it. All right, I'm down. So he shoots me the beat, and it's the Negative Behavior beat, and I was like, okay. And so I was like, I told Brown, I was like, I gotta let him have it, bro. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm gonna lock myself in the room for like 3 days, bro. I'm gonna come out with the sickest shit ever, because everybody knows him as Mr. Shadow now. He's a hot thing. I'm gonna be debuted. I'm gonna have a feature on his album, his upcoming album. Motherfuckers are going to hear that, so I gotta come with it, dog. And so it's funny because when the song comes on, here's another funny story. When that song comes on, my wife goes, "Oh," and I was like, "What? You don't like that song?" She's like, "No, it's not that. I get flashbacks." And what's the flashback about? She's like, "Because I remember when you were writing it, I heard it for 3 days straight." And she goes, "And I mean 3 days straight. I went to sleep, you were playing it. I woke up, you were playing it. I was, you know what I'm saying? You played it for 3 days straight." And literally I did. And I remember the writing process back with Shadow. We would call each other on the phone, like, "Hey, check this out. Boom, 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 boom. All right, yeah, I'm writing about this. Boom, 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 boom." So
that was on Born Without a Conscience.
Yeah, that was
right?
Born Without a Conscience. And so he was like, "What are we gonna call it?"
You were on two songs too. Also,
I was on two songs, "Shaking in Your Boots" and Negative Behavior.
Negative Behavior. Yes.
So he we go and record it at Steve Vicious's house, and you know what I'm saying, we put it down, dude. Like that song, man, I trip out because like it was like, "Hey, we're gonna Negative Behavior's back together again." We tried to get Brown on it. Brown wasn't trying to rap no more. Brown was already like family man, like not trying to be in that mix like that anymore. So I was like, all right, cool. So we just kind of gave it, like, we got together. That's why I said we set the bullshit to the side. You know what I'm saying? Our lyrics alone will make you high. That's why I said it, because hey, man, we're back together again. So Negative Behavior's in the house.
Yeah.
That song, man, I trip out because I listen to it. I look at it on YouTube. I see the comments. I see how many hits it has, and I'm like, shit. Funny story about that song too, right? So I was living in a house, and it was funny too because I was living in the crosstown. I was living in another neighborhood that I shouldn't have been living in. And I remember walking through the alley to go buy a pack of cigarettes, and I heard that beat playing, boom, 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 and I was like, "Where the hell's that coming from?" Because we had just recorded it. So I was like, "Shadow, give that song to somebody or what?" And I heard my voice, dude, and it was coming from some apartments, right? So I go to the store, I get on the payphone, and I call him. I'm like, "Hey, dog, did you give that song to somebody?" He goes, "No, we released it a couple days ago. I forgot to tell you. I got a copy for you." And I was like, "Bro, I was walking through the alley right now, and somebody was playing it, dude. That was the first time, bro, that I ever heard anybody outside my circle playing a song that I recorded."
Shit.
All that stuff I did, bro, I never really heard anybody play my stuff. Yeah.
Really? Damn, that must have been good feeling.
Hell yeah, it was, dude. I think I got super faded that night. You know what I'm saying? Like I celebrated.
Yeah, like after all that hard work, all that everything that you went through, you know, finally things were starting to fall into place.
No doubt.
Yeah, bro, and that shit was tight, bro. Like both those songs. Well, the whole album's dope, but those two songs that you did in there, man, it's fucking legends, classic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I was a little angry then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember we were talking about it.
Yeah, that was an angry part of my life, bro. I was angry for a lot of years.
Yeah, you said. Yeah, you said a certain amount. You had said some certain thing, and I'm like, what? He's like, oh no, I was just mad at them or mad at what I'm saying.
Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah. But after all this, when did you drop your album?
So my album came out in '99, but I was working on it in '98.
Oh, okay.
And that's a crazy thing, dude. Like, so up until that point, like I never had any, but like everything that I did personal wise, like the Brown and GPA EP, I came out of the pocket for that, right?
Okay.
And I had a dude. Like, here's a funny story for that. So I was broke. I needed like $2,200 to get it printed up, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't really have a job or nothing, and I was like, man, I need to get this money because I needed to get it done before they shut down. Because at that time, disc makers was shut down a certain time of the year for like maintenance and shit. So I wanted to get it done. I wanted to get it in there before they shut down. I needed the money, and the only person I knew that would probably have it and I could borrow it and pay it back was my grandfather.
Yeah.
And, so I asked my tata one day. I was like, hey man, I need to ask you for a favor. And he was like, what's up? I was like, I need to borrow $2,200. He was like, for what? That
huh?
he was like, for what? That rap crap? And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, let me think about it and come tomorrow morning. Be here at 8:00. I was like, all right, cool. So I took off. I come back the next morning, and I get to my grandma's house, and I was like, where's Tata at? She's like, oh, he's in the back. He wants you to go back there. I'm like, all right, cool. So I go to the backyard, and my Tata's got a wheelbarrow, a big ass pallet of bags of cement, and he's building a shed, and he's mixing concrete in a wheelbarrow. I was like, what's up, Tata?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, good you're here. Go ahead, start mixing. All right. So I start mixing cement in a wheelbarrow. He's laying brick. So that day, bro, day, dog, I mixed 36 bags of concrete.
Damn.
Right? I spent all day there, bro.
That shit
messed
hard.
up my new shoes, you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't prepared to like work, you know what I'm saying? And so he gave me beer, you know what I mean? Whatever, we did that, blah 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 blah. We got it done. And I said, all right. He goes, all right, thanks. I said, cool. I didn't ask him nothing, dude. Like I'm respectful to my grandfather like that, you know? And then he goes, here. And he pulls out an envelope. He had it in his pocket the entire time, bro. He goes, here you go. And I looked, and it was 20.
When you were working, doing all that, mixing the cement, did you know, or did you kind of have an idea, like, is he gonna let me borrow the money or not, or you were just going along with everything?
See, I guess I'm different than most people. I can only speak for myself. When it comes to stuff like that, I should automatically help my tata whether I'm getting paid or not, bro.
Yeah. See,
right? You know what I'm saying? Like when you go back there, you see my tata sweeping. Hey, let me go ahead and sweep. You need me to do something to help you? I still do that to this day, bro. I don't expect nothing from nobody, dude. I grew up as an only child, and I think that's probably one of my downfalls is that I never ask help from anybody. Right? Yeah. But I'm offering help to anybody. That's just the kind of dude I am. Like, hey, let's go, let's do it. I'll help you. Let's go. You know. So going back there, I knew my tata was going to have he was going to have a talk with me or discussion or whatever, but it was on his time. No, my tata's busy mixing concrete. Let me help him and get this done so I can talk to him. That's it. And I was ready, dude. Literally, bro. Like by 1:00, I was like, "Fuck, man, he's gonna say no. That's fucked up." You know what I'm saying? Like, but he didn't. Thank God he didn't, man. Like, and I got the tape printed up, and I gave him a copy, and I gave my nana a copy, and I gave them a poster because we have posters done too. Supposedly, I haven't seen it. My nana passed away years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, and my cousin, my cousin was saying that she thinks that she still has my tape and my poster somewhere.
Oh, damn.
And that tape is hard to find, bro. I only know of 2 copies that are in existence of that tape.
Bro, how many albums did you?
We did.
Remember?
Yeah, we did. We did 2,000. So check this out, bro. The Brown and GPA EP, dude. We sold 2,000 in a month. No promotion, nothing. We just put it in stores and people ate it up, dog.
Damn. I see right now as we're talking right now, I'm online. Your album is for sale on a website called
Discogs.
Discogs, and another one called the good old days. For $249.
That's crazy. I've seen it sell as high as $500, bro.
Yeah. And it's mint condition, it says.
Yeah.
Bro, it's hard to find.
Yeah, that Hard Times is definitely hard to find. Brown and GPA EP is even harder than that, dog. I have a copy that the homie Jesse gave to me, bro. Shouts out to Jesse. He gave to me and was like, "Here, bro, like every artist should have their own, what do you call it?" And I was like, "Oh shit." And it was a Brown and GPA tape. Didn't have the cover, but it was the tape. I still have it, and I don't have a tape player, and I'm scared to play because I think that the tape's gonna break.
Yeah. Do you still have your songs for the Hard Times album?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I still have copies of the CD too.
Do you
Yeah,
really?
but they're for my kids. They gotta have something to remember me by when I ain't here no more. I got one for each of my kids.
Oh, okay. Damn, that's what's up, man. But hey, man, you need to put that album out, my boy.
Bro, so here's the thing. Brown and I started working on a full album after the EP release.
Yeah.
That album was called On the Creek, and we started working on that one. That's where that song "Booming in the Ride" comes from. Southeast Side. There's a song called "Nuts in Your Mouth." There was a song called "Studio Gangster." There's a song called "Fuck Your Life."
Damn.
And then there was a couple other tracks that we had started working on, but we never finished.
Okay.
So that there's like, I have majority of those. I talked to Madman still. Shout out to Madman. What's up, Reggie? We went over his house and we were trying to find the original ADATs because we know he had them somewhere. We found a DAT of mine and Brown's, and that's where we found Southeast Side digital, like a clean digital version. So everything that's on YouTube sounds like shit. It sounds like shit. The ones that Reggie has the masters, so they sound great. I have copies of it, but I haven't let them out yet. I don't want to yet. I'm hoarding. Sorry, everybody. And so he has the majority of the songs, but there's other songs that we don't have when we're trying to find, you know.
Okay. Dude, if you release the Hard Times album, bro, I will be the first one. Hey, man, how much?
Yeah.
Because, man, YouTube, man, it's cool having it on YouTube, but, man, it's just not the same, you know what I'm saying?
So recording the Hard Times, dude, like, again, let's go back, like, before I started. I never had somebody pay for an album for me. Like, I never had financial backing. Everybody else that was doing it at the time had somebody financially backing them. I never had that, right? So I had one of my homeboys had a brother-in-law, and it's funny, dog, because his brother-in-law is from National City. I'm from Paradise Hills. He's from National City, so technically we shouldn't be getting along. He introduced me to him, and we clicked pretty good, man. He was a cool cat, and he's like, "Hey, I heard you're a rapper." I'm like, "Yeah, kind of." And so he was like, well, at that time I was like in between. I had broken up with the Brown and the Brown and GPA project had fizzled out, and I took like 2 years off, almost 2 years off, dude. So I got caught up in drugs and all the shit I was trying to stay away from. I got sucked back into that, and I was kind of on the downs at that point. You know what I'm saying? And me and the homie Ghost, shout out to Aaron, that's the dude, Ghost Town Entertainment. The homie Ghost was like, "Hey, you should do something with the music. You should do something with the music." And I was like, "Well, we'll see." I had another homie, Teddy Bowser, rest in peace. I used to go over to his house all the time, and this is when I was in the bottoms, man. And one day he asked me, he's like, I used to go to his house, smoke weed and shit. And he's like, "Hey, man, like, what are you doing out here?" I think I had just got jumped or something, dude. I got beat up or some shit. He's like, what are you doing out here?" And I was like, I'm trying to be me and blah, 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 some bullshit. He's like, "You need to focus on your music, bro." He's like, "You're the kind of guy that's going to fuck around, take a knife to a gunfight, and you're going to die out here." And I was like, all right. So that kind of always stuck in my head. And then now I have somebody else telling me kind of the same thing. So around that time, Little One hit me up. out of nowhere and said, "Hey, you want to jump on a rap on a song with me called Six?" And I go, "Yeah, cool." So Atlanta being 666, and I was like, "Cool." So the homie Ghost was my ride. That's the day I met Steve Vicious too. Shout out to Steve Vicious, aka VMF, homie, one of the sickest in the game. That's the day I met VMF. So Little had the track there. We get there, I write it, and this is the first time that Steve Vicious had ever heard me rap, and it was the first time that the homie Ghost had ever heard me rap, right? And I get there, and you know the song 666. I spit as best I could, and
I know.
And I remember that. I remember in the recording session too when I say that part. Hey, little one, let me know when to press the button so I can blow the ass away. I remember seeing Steve Vicious' head like rocking back and forth, like hell yeah, you know what I mean? And so we get out of there, and my homie Ghost like, dude, you got to do something with this music, man. I'm like, I'm down. And then he went with me to the recording sessions for like Shaking in Your Boots and Negative Behavior. And I think it was on Negative Behavior. I asked Vicious, I'm like, hey, what's up, dude? Like, how much for tracks? He told me. And then my homie, the homie Ghost came out the pocket. Here's enough for 3.
Oh,
and that's where we started. We started recording Hard Times. So each song on Hard Times, bro, has kind of a meaning to it. Just the song selection. So like, GPA is the name. That's a cover by Patrice Rushen, Remind Me. So the first time I heard that song, I was at my homeboy Little Gato, rest in peace, his funeral. And they played that song at the funeral. They said, because they said, oh, this was his favorite song. So they played the entire song. And I remember, and that song just kind of just stuck with me. So every time I hear that song, I think of him. And so I wanted to make sure that when I did this album, that was my album, I wanted to kind of pay tribute to him by doing that. So that's why I chose that song. When I recorded GPA is the name, I wanted it to be an anthem, right? Or I wanted to be like, that's why I came with the San Diego is the place. You know what I mean? That I wanted everybody to kind of say that. You know what I mean? I wanted a big crowd of people to say it. I didn't have a crowd of people in the recording studio, so it didn't come out that way. But that song, bro, I get played. I go places and people are playing it, you know.
Damn.
And I'm kind of tired of it. in the aspect of, because I don't think that's one of my best songs that I've ever recorded. But I'm glad it's still around, dude. Like that's the shit. So
like street poetry, bro.
Yeah, that's on my second album that never came out.
Yeah, that song hits home.
Yeah, so that one, man, like, so between the first album, right, Hard Times and Street Poetry, I removed myself from the streets a little bit as far as like on the gangbanging bullshit, but I was still being tormented by the demon. I was so messed up on drugs, bro, and it wasn't just weed anymore, dog. I was smoking crystal and smoking anything that I got my hands on. I didn't smoke crack or nothing like that, but it was like, hey, you got a Primo? Oh, cool, let's smoke a Primo. Like, let's smoke a dip. Like, that's just how I was, you know what I mean? Yeah. The Hard Times album, bro, I don't think there's a song on there that I was sober.
Oh.
And I mean, it's like I was on multiple shit on every song. Like, I couldn't tell you how I did it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so when I got done with the first album, we had started OG Sanch's album, Taxation Upon Representation. Shouts out to OG Sanch, Jeremy. So we started on his album, and then we wanted to follow up with another GPA album because the Hard Times, you know, it was doing whatever it was doing. I didn't see it at the time, I guess you could say. And then that's the thing, man. I never thought anybody liked my music, bro.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that.
I always felt that nobody liked my music. During this whole time.
Sometimes you could be your own worst critic, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know, it was like we go places and everybody's playing everybody else, not playing me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it got to the point where it was like, I'm doing it. And so there was a difference between when I was doing it for the Hard Times and Street Poetry album than with the Brown and GPA album. So the Brown and GPA, the
Oh,
Brown
okay.
and GPA album, I surrounded myself by artists, dude, like dudes that were actually just trying to make music, and you know what I'm saying? It was a different environment, right? Where the Hard Times and Street Poetry album, I was around a bunch of thugs and hustlers and ballers, and you know what I'm saying? It was that kind of crowd of people. So to me, the Brown and GPA thing was fun, right? I could take my time. I could take 3 days or 3 weeks to record a song, where the Hard Times and Street Poetry portion of it was all business.
Yeah.
You know, and here it goes again. If you go back to the negative behavior sessions, right? What I got mad at people for not being serious about, I wasn't enjoying myself now.
Damn.
You know, because Steve Vicious, shouts out to Steve again. He's a businessman. He has, you know, like he has people he has to record. I'm not the only one here. So when I go in for my recording session, right, and it's a trip, dude, because you roll into Steve's house, you know, Little could be the one after you, or Shadow could be the guy before you, or whoever. You know, he recorded a lot of dudes from San Diego. The icons, you know what I'm saying? Cricket, like, shouts out to all those dudes out there. They could be in the studio before me or coming in after me, so I didn't have time to bullshit.
Get straight
to business, bro. Like, he would tell you, you come in here, you record. It's not practice. You come and record. That was the first talk he gave me. And when we go there and we hit 3 songs in 2 hours. We're talking 3 verses, ad libs, freaking hook, and shots out, and the whole 9. 3 hours. Sometimes we do 3 and 2, or 3 and 2, or you know what I'm saying? It was let's get busy.
Yeah.
So and then on top of that, you know, the environment that I was in, it was highly stressful. We're talking the 90s, dog.
Yeah.
You know, so
everything was not, I don't know, it was, how should I put it? Like, everything nowadays is watered down. Back then it was way worse. Everything, you know what I mean? And so I see where you're coming
the streets were active, bro. That's the best way I can put it. Everybody was active. And so being in that environment, it was different. So then when I did the Hard Times album, I got it done. We were working on OG Sanchez's Taxation Upon Representation album. I started doing the the Street Poetry album. And album, I don't know if anybody's ever sat there and listened to the entire album, because it's never been released, and it's song here, song there on YouTube. But that album, I was going through shit, bro. Like, I had just become a dad. I was struggling with drug addiction, and I was struggling with my identity of who I was as a man in this world. Right?
Yeah. How old were you?
I was 22.
Oh, man. Yeah. It's right around that time.
Yeah, 21, 22. Let's see, 90. No, actually, I was a little bit older, Doc. I was probably like 24.
Yeah.
22. Between 22 and 24, that's around the time I was.
So you were a first-time dad, and you were going through everything, and it's just everything was happening at once.
Everything was happening at once. That's why if you listen to the album, bro, I'm up and down, right? You got Street Poetry, which is really like the opening lines to that song, sitting on my porch writing verses of Street Poetry. I literally was on my front porch at 4:00 in the morning, homie, thinking I was gonna die soon. What? That's how I felt inside. Like, I couldn't sleep because I thought I was gonna die soon. So I needed to get whatever I needed to get out. And then that kind of led into the entire song. You know, I talked about my addiction. I talked about me and my dad having beef. You know what I'm saying? Talking about the homies that I've lost, the homies that are locked up. And it's just a real soul searching song. You know what I'm saying? And then the very next song I have, you know what I'm saying, No Hesitation, No Forgiveness, where I'm, you know, lyrically fucking beating people up. You know what I'm saying? So that album was all over the place, dude.
Is it? I need to look for it. I think Street Poetry is one of the ones that I've heard, but other than that, I haven't.
Yeah, there's like, you know, I have that album had, let's see, there was Street Poetry, there was Do You Still Care, there's Empty Page, there's Still Solo, Last Words, No Hesitation, No Forgiveness, Why You Mad, Fallen Few, and like 2 more cuts, I think. But they're
even the titles of those songs are like they hit.
But they all mean something, right? So like, the Empty Page song. Empty Page. I called it the Empty Page because I had a deadline to meet to write this song, and I remember having my daughter in my arms trying to write a rap, and I couldn't, and I kept staring at an empty page.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I came. That's where I called it Empty Page. The song I wrote, Do You Still Care? That was for my wife because she wasn't my wife at the time, but I felt that she didn't like me no more because I wasn't the guy that she really met before, and I was going down this dead end road, bro.
That path. Yeah.
You know. So it was it was a crazy experience, crazy ride, man.
Yeah, man. You know, sometimes to get to where you're at in life, you got to go through certain things. Yeah. And I feel you, man. I became a dad. I became a dad at 15 years old, bro.
Oh shit.
So it's like, yeah, I became a dad at 15, man.
That's young, dog. I was starting late. I didn't have kids till I was 22.
Yeah, I was 14, and when I turned 15, my son was born.
Damn.
And that to tell you, bro, that's what saved me, because ever since my son was born, I started working at a grocery store bagging groceries, and now I never stopped working ever since.
That's right. Respect, homie.
It's a blessing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my daughter being born kind of put me in a different mindset. I was there, and I seen her born, and I can't tell you any other time in my life where I watched my life change before my eyes like that.
Damn.
Right, because
I told you, I see where you're.
Because before that, homie, it was all about me. I was selfish. I could do whatever I want. I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? If I don't make it home tonight, that's what it is. But as soon as I saw my daughter born, it's not me anymore. And she was pure, and she was. I mean, straight up, dog. She was straight from God. And I remember my wife will tell me to this day that when she was a baby, I didn't hold her because I'd be so high sometimes, bro, that I couldn't hold her because I felt guilty.
Damn.
You know, and we're and you know, the first part of this thing, dog, we're only talking about my music. Like I told you when we talked over the phone, I told you there's three aspects. There's three aspects of me, bro. There's my musical career, there's my drug addiction, and then there's me being a Mexican American trying to make it in this world, and everybody knows what's going on in this world today. So
it's all fucked up, bro.
Yeah.
So me as a fan, you know, I always ask you, did you take pictures for your album? Or anything like, nah, I didn't take no pictures. I'm gonna put it honest with you, bro. I don't know who found who on Instagram or who followed who first, but bro, I did not know that was you until Nightmare told me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Nightmare, man, speaks very highly of you, and you guys, from what he told me, you guys are working on a track together.
Yeah,
right?
That track's done deal, man. That's up to him when he's ready to release it. Shout out to Nightmare, man.
Yeah, on the last podcast, he put you on his top 5 list of top rappers.
Damn.
Man. I don't know if you heard the last podcast, but he put
I did.
Right?
He's being nice.
Yeah, but man, you know, I want to shout out to Nightmare. You know, he made, you know, help me out with this, and to yourself as well. And man, what the fans have been wondering is not what happened, but how did you just decide to just quit everything and just start doing something different?
Well, we got to go back to the beginning again. We're gonna go through this timeline, and I'll lay it out for you, bro.
Yeah, man.
So it started with the Brown and GPA project. We were doing big things, and we weren't doing shows. When I mean by big things, like I listened to the songs that we recorded, and it was like, man, why didn't we do anything with these? One of the major problems that contributed to me walking away was myself not really getting engaged in understanding the business of music. Yeah, I just wanted to rap. My mindset was small, bro. My mindset was just in front of me. I didn't think about future. I didn't think about money. All I thought about was getting high, partying, and bumping, and somebody bumping my song. That was it. That's as far as it went. So during the time with Brown and GPA, you know, we paid for tracks and stuff like that, and it was all good. And we started working on the second one. The second album, it was more of a homie deal, I guess you could say. Because, you know, straight up, dude, Madman's my friend, dog. Like, that's my friend. There's not a lot of people in this world that I call my friend. Madman's my friend, right? And so we started recording the second album without negotiating anything. We just started recording because that's what we did, you know. So while during that time we're there, some drama happened, and I'm not going to get into the discussion of what happened went down because I can't really tell you exactly what happened because it wasn't directly me that was involved with the drama, but our whole recording situation got shut down. So they got to the point where we all got like, hey, told not to come back for a while because there was bullshit going on, right?
Yeah.
And I was hurt, bro. Like I was super, super hurt. Not because I was told not to come back, not because I was mad. I was just hurt because I thought my friendship on that level was a little bit, I thought it was different. But I was mad because it was my exit. That was the thing that kept me clean. That was the thing that kept me off the street. That was the thing that was going to give me hope to get out of my environment. And it was taken away from me really quick. And it wasn't like intentionally because of us. It was just like, hey, you know what? Let stuff settle down, right? That's what I was told. Let stuff settle down, and then we'll see what happens. But right now, it's just not a good time to be, you know, it's not a good time to have everybody over here right now. Cool, no problem. But me being me and the way my mind functions, I start thinking about shit, right? And nothing was ever said. Nothing was like, there was no disrespect. There was no argument. There was nothing like that, bro. So I was like, I told Brown, you know what? Fuck it. I'm done, dog. I'm not rapping no more. I'm gonna go do my thing. Right. And so I land up just hitting the streets again. It was funny, dog, because I remember when I was like, hey, I'm not rapping anymore. I'm done. And I've never really left my neighborhood. I mean, I've lived another place, someplace else, but you know, my family's here. I grew up here. You know what I'm saying? And I remember going to the store one day, dog, and I hadn't been back to the store in a while. And it was like I was a celebrity, bro. Like everybody knew who I was. Hey, what up, dog? Boom, 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 boom. Next thing you know, my aunt has an apartment in the neighborhood, and fools are showing up to that apartment thinking it was my apartment. And next thing you know, it's the party spot. It had a nickname. We used to call it the triplex. Because it was a duplex in the back and a house in the front. So everybody's like, hey, we going to the triplex tonight? And like, yeah. I mean, I would show up. I wasn't even living there, bro. I would show up and the homies would be deep there already. So I got myself in that circle of people, right? And it's nothing on them, bro. I made my own choices. But I got myself in that circle of people where it wasn't about music. It was about survival. I had homies that were just trying to survive. Homies just trying to eat. Homies trying to get back on their feet because they just got out the pen. You know what I'm saying? Homies trying to deal with losing their family because, you know, their drug addiction. So that's the crowd I was with. Then it got to the point where I was like, fuck music. This is me. You know what I'm saying? I'm whoop-de-woo. You know what I'm saying? Fuck music. I ain't about that life no more. And then it got to the point where there was a couple times, dude, I remember this. There was a couple times that Madman called to talk to me, to reach out to me, and I wouldn't take his calls. Because it was like, I'm away from that life. I'm done with that. You know what I'm saying? Looking in hindsight, dog, I was an idiot. I was acted like a little kid, dude, straight up. Because again, he was my friend. And friends usually treat friends better than that, bro. And I took the wrong step towards that. So I separated myself from everybody, bro. Like even the homie Brown, like my brother Brown, dog, like he would come to the house sparingly because, you know, some shit might pop off, and I don't want Brown there. People don't know this about Brown. I'm gonna put Brown on blast, and he might not like this, but Brown is a badass artist, homie. Yeah, he's one of the baddest artists, and you know what's crazy? I bet you there's albums that he's drawn that you never even knew he drew.
What?
Little One's No Condolences album? That's Brown. Yeah. Brown drew that.
Damn.
I want to say Night Owl's Wild Wild West album. He drew that. So Brown, yeah, too. Brown's a badass artist, bro. He drew stuff for Low Profile, like. He's a good artist, man. Yeah. So I seen him having something, and that was the thing, dude. I valued his life more than mine. So I seen him going places, and me, I'm not going anywhere, dude. Don't, you know, stay out of here. So that's where that started, and then comes that anger with the opportunity to start dissing people, right?
Shit, not a good combination.
No, bro, and I let it out. I think out of the diss tracks that I did, and like again, Astro Tribe, they're my friends. Dude, shout out to Astro Tribe. Reggie, Madman, my homies, right? But I went in on them hard on those songs, dog.
Yeah, you did.
Why? Because it wasn't on a rap shit. I was hurt. But looking in hindsight, 20 plus years later, I don't even know why I was mad, bro.
And it's funny that you say that, because you weren't the only one that went at the Aztec tribe either. Like, I heard the Mista's album, Night Owl. Everybody was like mad at them guys.
Yeah,
you know?
I can't speak I can't speak on why they did that, because that's their story to tell.
Yeah.
But I know what, like, I'm not a dude like, and I've seen it, you know, in the music industry where someone goes and disses somebody and somebody else jumps on it and they had no business being on there.
Yeah,
like,
that's how it is now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm gonna say something, you're gonna know it's me and I'm the one that said it, and whatever comes with it, let's do it. That's the mentality that I had. The one thing that I learned, bro, in life, homie, like someone told me this one time, there's only two things in this life that are free, homie. That's an ass whooping and advice. They both hurt, but you get over both of them. So if you got one coming, take it and keep it pushing. Don't ever be afraid of those two things, because they hurt equally, bro. And ass kicking hurts, and taking advice that you don't want to hear hurts equally. But don't run.
Tough love.
Yeah, but don't run away from it.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of communication on that end, and then just the whole aspect of like navigating through the music industry with that kind of mentality. It wasn't a good one.
Oh shit!
It wasn't a good mentality.
So, when you said that you were in the streets, it wasn't like you weren't like homeless or anything like that, right? You were just more on the streets, more active, as you say.
I wasn't. How do I put it? If you we're about to hit 90 minutes right now. Bam. Yeah. Okay. You said 100. You said 100, right?
Well, if it hits 100, ladies and gentlemen, they ain't even gonna know, because it's
okay. Cool. But
let's keep going.
All right. So when I say the street, when I say I'm in the streets now, if you're thinking of me being this big active gang member, banging and robbing people, that wasn't me. When I mean active in the streets, like these dudes that were doing that shit, those are my partners.
Yeah.
Right. Those dudes I grew up with.
Right.
Those dudes that spent night at my house. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they had no place to go, or the cops were looking for them, or, you know what I'm saying, or they made a pit stop to, you know what I'm saying, to do whatever they needed to do and keep it pushing, or we got into some shit and we were, you know what I mean? The crowd that I hung out with, bro, you had to be ready for shit to pop off, because when it popped off, ain't none of us running.
Yeah.
You know, and it's sad because a lot of those good partners that I had back then, they're not here no more, dog. They're not. Like I had a group of homies, dude. I want to say there was probably like 10 of us, and 7 are gone.
Fuck. And that's how it goes.
Yeah. Like my aunt, she tells me all the time, like, your generation's not here anymore. Like, no, they're not. I mean, dudes, like, I lost, and I'll be more clear. I lost friends, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I lost friends, and the ones that did make it, that's because they were busted for a while, and they're barely getting out now.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Or the other ones that are, you know, that stood out, they ain't no good, so I don't associate with them. So it's like, cool, man, you know, do your thing, but stay away from me. I'm not trying to have your karma around me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you made it, bro, because you know, God has a plan for you. You know?
Yeah, bro, but you know, it's like, what's my purpose? Why didn't I make it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why, like, when I always, in any of the stuff that I've worked on, homie, as far as music, like, I've taken time to remember them, because at the end of the day, 1, 2, 3 of them got my back and saved my life in one time or another. And I wouldn't have the opportunity to be here to tell my story. And, you know what I'm saying, to have them and have their story being told. You know what I'm saying? It hurts me, dude. It hurts me, because at the end of the day, with as far as I've come, I know they had it in them to make it too, but they just didn't have, their life got taken short for whatever reason.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I lost one of my best friends, Man, we were 16 years old, you know what
Yep.
I mean? And he never got to see his son grow up. And it's, when you're out in the streets, bro, or anything like that, something's always bound to happen. So either like it makes you evolve to be a better person, or you just get sucked right back in.
Yeah.
Because I still know people, from our generation that's still doing the same thing, bro, and they can never leave that cycle.
Yeah.
And you just got to break the cycle, but you got to go through certain aspects in order to get out of it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man. So now you were saying that it's all three different. So once with the music you were done, did you still have other stuff going on after you weren't dealing with music?
Yeah, but let me get back. Let me finish the why I quit though, because we didn't even get there yet.
Okay.
This is pre hard times, bro. That's all pre hard times. Losing my homies are through this whole entire time, but pre hard times is when I had like the issue with people that are my friends now. But so during this time of hard times and street poetry and doing shows and selling records, I didn't, like I told you, I didn't think people were really interested in my music, right? That's just kind of it's always, anybody that knows me now, you could tell me, oh, GPA, this and that. I'm like, yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? That's just me. But when you're in that kind of environment, there's people that are around you that like to take advantage of that or take advantage of you behind your back. So there's been certain individuals that use my music without my consent to make profit off of it. And I got tired of it, bro. Like, I can understand if you're my friend and you need help and you say, hey, I want to do this and I'll cut you a little bit. Cool. Kick me down some rock. Give me some crumbs, bro. I ain't asking for half. You know what I'm saying? Put my name correctly on the CD. And I want to say this right now. Like, if you are on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that, and you see that, unless it's associated with Mr. Shadow or Mr. Little One, don't support it because it has nothing to do with me. Right? You'll see.
So, oh man, sorry about that.
You're good.
Did you hear that? Somebody just banged on the door.
Somebody just fell. So I'll say it again. So unless you have, like, on Instagram when they tag the songs and stuff, unless it's a Mr. Shadow song or a Mr. Little One song, don't support it because it has nothing to do with me.
Really?
There's a song on there where they got me listed as Mount Hollis. Who the hell is that, dog? That ain't even me. I'm GPA.
What the Mount Hollis?
Yeah, I tripped out on that. So it got to the point where it was expected of me to continue to do this stuff and be okay with it. And I got tired, bro.
Yeah,
I got tired. So for me, dealing with everything I was dealing with, the stress and all that stuff, and just getting tired of it, I thought that, you know what? The way they can't make any more money off me is if I don't do it anymore.
Yeah. It's a fucking cutthroat business, bro.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah. So I walked away. And it's crazy, dude, because I officially didn't do anything recording wise after 2001. So there was no internet. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't any of that social media stuff. There was nothing like that then. Well, internet was there, but it wasn't like how it is now, dude. There was no platforms like that, right?
It's fucking dial up.
Yeah. So what the crazy part about it though, dog, is that during that, from like 2001 to like 2004 or 5, I didn't even listen to music, bro.
Are you serious?
I didn't have a radio in my house. I didn't listen to music, and I was just going through it, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I would go stop back time to time at my homie Ghost's pad, and oh yeah, look at the thing that so and so did, and look at what they're doing here, and look at what they're doing there, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I didn't have like that, I need to get back in this game and show these motherfuckers what time. I didn't have that attitude, bro. It was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I was trying to get clean. You know what I'm saying? I just got a job that I was really focused on doing. I had my second kid. And it was time to do something different. And so I felt comfortable walking away. until like 2005 rolls around, and YouTube is out, and you know the internet's kind of heavy, and MySpace starts popping off.
Did you have a MySpace?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And
Everybody,
you know, so when I started seeing that, like, oh shit, there's people that know my name. Or how did the hell they get this song? Because I didn't let it out, right? And that's when LimeWire and fucking Napster and all that shit was big. So somebody had loaded something up on the computer and they ripped it off, right? But I put a page up in MySpace, and then I started getting hit by people all over the place, dog. We're talking France, Germany, Taiwan, Japan, like places I never even thought that CD even made it there, bro. And this was all hard time stuff. Nobody even knew that street poetry was done. Like nobody knew that.
Yeah, it was hard times.
It was just hard times. And then so I had street poetry songs that I would post up there, and people were like, "What the hell?" And I was planning to put another album out. I was like, let me just do another album. Let me try it. But it was a lot harder then because I was broke. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have that kind of money. I didn't have the financial backing because the homie Ghost was like, he was already at that point, he was not even involved with the music business anymore. And it was kind of like, all right, that's what it is. So let me try to do here and there. I had a couple homies making some tracks, and I did some recording, but it never got serious, dude. And then 2012.
And there you have it, part 1 of the GPA interview. Stay tuned next Sunday for part 2. And again, thank you for tuning in to the ALR podcast.